pick up on the markets now. The JSE could rebound today after a two-day slide left the all-share index at its lowest level since late December. The two-day slide in the South African share market came off a high base after the all-share scaled record highs over the past week. Carmen Mpelwane, portfolio manager at Absa Asset Management, joining us now to talk us through the latest in the world of business. Carmen, good morning to you. So after that local index dropped the most since the start of the pandemic and the rand, importantly, retreating from its strongest level since November, take us through what is driving this sentiment?
So I think we should start offshore, number one. So we're seeing that global stocks are having their worst month since the start of the pandemic in terms of performance, and we have not been left unscathed on the JSE either. Yesterday we saw almost 90% of the shares on the ALSI in the red. S&P yesterday took a dip of about 4.4%, but managed to recover and ended off 30 bits up. A lot of this is driven by concerns around what Russia's intention is in the Ukraine, number one. And we've also seen the US have ready troops in Europe in case those are needed as well to assist in Ukraine. So that has been one of the key issues. Second concern is related to the Fed and the prospectivity in terms of increasing rates from March. So that's been a concern for investors. And lastly, so far, earnings season in the US has been very lackluster. So trifecta, and effectively we saw the reaction on the shares globally.
Yeah, let's talk commodities. Oil prices climbing in early trade, regaining some of the ground lost in the previous days, sharp losses. Take us through those developments.
Yeah, so we saw Brent crude yesterday or Monday lost 1.8%. That has recovered into this morning. A lot of that, again, supported by concerns around supply and specifically Ukraine as well, and the impact of that on the oil price. So I expect that you'll see support going throughout the day for the oil price. We have seen the Brent crude up 11% year to date. So yes, still quite high.
Yeah, let's talk company news. The Clicks Group publishing its trading update for the 20 weeks to 16 January 2022. How did they fare?
So I don't think it should be much of a shock. We saw the retail numbers come out last week, and specifically around the pharma numbers, of which Clicks is quite dominant in that, together with Dis-Chem. So we saw top line sales growth for Clicks was guided to 10.4%. When you break it down and look into the number, a large portion of that comes from the sale of the vaccine administration of vaccine by Clicks. So they administered 1.8 million vaccines, and the contribution to top line is, while excluding the vaccines, would be only up 4.2% versus the 10.4% that they've given us. This was largely driven by the retail side, which includes the vaccine sales. So retail is your beauty, your pharmacy, etc. Whereas before we were banking on the wholesale sales for Clicks from the UPD division that used to be the stalwart. However, that was only up 2.5% on back of a very high base last year. So you saw the market yesterday rewarding Clicks only up 50 bips. Another interesting feature was the addition of a notification that they're seeing a change in trading patterns. And that relates to people moving back or restrictions being reduced and people moving back into the destination malls.
Yeah, let's conclude our conversation with the Netflix stocks, which fell as much as 11.6%, down more than 30% over the past 3 trading days. What's driving that slump?
So last week, to the end of last week, we saw them come out with their earnings numbers. But more importantly for them was the subscriber outlook for Netflix, which obviously is their bread and butter, came in below market's expectations, so a lot weaker, and therefore the share price reacted accordingly. We have seen a rotation out of growth stocks and specifically tech stocks, so this has had a further impact for them. So last week Friday we saw it down 22%, but from its peak in November 2021, the share price is down almost 50%.
Carmen Mpelwane, thank you very much for that markets update. She is a portfolio manager at Absa Asset Management.